we're focusing on growing your wealth from investing to second jobs and side hustles.
Ooh.
There are plenty of ways to bring in some extra cash.
Yeah, Valerie Rivera is here.
Yes.
Yep, the founder and financial planner, First Gen Wealth. Valerie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Of course.
So how do you make your money work for you, and how do you actually go about building wealth?
You know what? It's one of those areas that is boring and it takes time and it's slow and everyone wants it fast.
Yeah.
But it is. It's about being sustainable and consistent over time, spending less, right, than what you're making and investing that difference.
Yeah.
Investing that difference. That's where.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, because I mean, when you want to start off investing and you got these side hustles or you got extra cash, where do you begin?
Yeah, right. That can be really tough if you're trying to make it. Right, it can be really tough to find that extra money. But even if you have $5, $10 a month, you have something extra. Start off with something like a high yield savings account. Okay. So that earns right now about 4%. We could take advantage of high interest rates, not great for mortgages, but great for cash on hand.
Yeah.
Right? Use that to build up your emergency fund to get started.
Right, that's tangible.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually asked that question, but there was another question I was supposed to ask you. What is your advice to someone who is the first in their family to take steps towards building wealth?
If you are the first in your family to build wealth, it is important to really have the right mindset. You didn't grow up generally seeing people like you with wealth, and the whole concept is foreign, right? So you have to believe that you can do it and be able to say, yes, this is for me. I am deserving of this. I am worthy, right? And that part of it sounds easy, but it's actually really hard, right?
What and I know this seems like a very almost trivial question, but what is wealth, right? So how do you define it, and how do you know you've achieved it?
People often define wealth thinking only about financial wealth, right? But there are other types of wealth. We have to think about our time, our energy, our resources, right? People want freedom. And we want freedom over our choices that we can make in life. So if we're only focusing on money, we can often leave out other aspects that are really important, right?
Yeah.
So for example, I think about the importance for me being really present at home. I have a 5-year-old. So it's not just about maximizing every single dollar I can make, but I also want to make sure I can do pickup most days.
Right, the things that are really important.
Yeah.
What's your advice for short-term CDs?
For short-term CDs right now at this point, rates, it's tough, right? So I prefer to put clients at this stage into a high yield savings account because it's liquid, meaning if you need the cash, you can pull it out versus a CD that's going to lock you in. And if you need the money sooner, right, you might be locked into a rate that doesn't make sense for you.
Well, let's say you don't need the money sooner. Is that a good viable option?
If you don't need the money sooner and maybe it's 1 to 2 years, think about investing more so in the stock market.
Oh, versus a short-term CD.
Correct.
Good to know.
It's so doggone simple, yet so hard. No, I mean, seriously, live beneath your means and save the money, save the difference. I mean, it's the hardest thing to do, but it's so simple.
It really is. And create accountability, right? People don't talk about money, and I think that in itself is a big problem. Talk to friends, create accountability, because other people have the same questions that you do.
All right, Valerie Rivera, great advice, founder and financial planner of First Gen Wealth. Thank you for being here with us.